Hi, welcome back to Continuous Integration Workflow. In this lesson, we will test our Rails app using Jenkins and also add some metrics to it. In Jenkins, we have to adapt a few things. First, we need to install a few additional plugins. The first one is Ruby Metrics. The second one is XUnit. After installation is complete, we can change our project's configuration. First of all, it would be great to have the same functionality like Travis CI and CodeShip, which is to start a build when a change is pushed to GitHub. Let's enable the checkmark for that. We also need to change the settings of the GitHub repository. Under Webhooks and Services, we can add a new service called Jenkins, and we are using the GitHub plugin. The hook URL is going to be our IP address and port, and we have to add GitHub webhook to it. Whenever we push to GitHub from now on, a build will trigger in Jenkins. Next up is a new rake task. We have to set up the database before the tests. Therefore, we need to run db create and db schema load. To create the correct database, we need to export the correct Rails environment in the shell script. The spec task will also need changing, since we want to create test reports. We will use the rspec JUnit formatter and save it to rspec.xml. Now we have to add post-build actions. The first one is publish archive report, and the other one is publish XUnit test result report. In the first one, we need to set the report directory to coverage/archive. For XUnit, we have to specify JUnit and provide the pattern, which is rspec.xml. Before we can run a new build, we have to make some changes on the Jenkins server itself. We need the Jenkins database user to be able to connect and create databases. As root, first run su-postgres to switch to the Postgres user, and then run create user-s to create a superuser, Jenkins. In our project, we need to add some gems to the development and test group. The first one is simplecov, then simplecov archive, and finally rspec JUnit formatter. We also have to add some code to the beginning of the Rails helper file, which is requiring simplecov and simplecov archive, then setting the formatters to the archive formatter and the HTML formatter. The second one is for development, so you also get a viewable coverage report locally. Then we start simplecov with the Rails configuration. Now we only have to run bundle install and then commit the changes to Git. The build triggered successfully via GitHub, but there were a few errors that were very specific to my server. As you can see, it took me a few builds to get it fixed. First of all, my rake invocations didn't like the gem set anymore, which caused it to revert to default. I'm sure you noticed that earlier. So now I had to use a new gem set. And when using a rake task, you can't simply pass options to rspec. You have to use an inline environment variable called specopt. Finally, I had a typo in the coverage directory. When we look at the output, you can see I triggered 2 successful builds to show you the graphs you will receive. The first is the code coverage. The second one is the test result trend. Since all tests pass, there are no failed tests visible. You can also look at it in detail. The RCOV report shows test coverage for each and every file. The test results can also be viewed in detail down to each individual test. As you can see, there is a lot of information you can receive with those plugins, and there are many more. The more builds you have, the better the graphs look. In the next lesson, we will deploy the application to a VPS using Capistrano. See you there!